Hey folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Podcast. It's a show where each week we're going to be sitting down with Vincent Daly to get his thoughts on the latest movies he's been watching, both older films and new releases. And don't worry, there's no spoilers. Vince will give a brief review of the movie, share some thoughts, and of course, then rate the film. The daily ratings are always fair, honest, and most importantly, they're consistent. On today's show, Vince will be rating and reviewing. We are first starting with Exit 8, a film by Genki Kawamaro, a Japanese guy. We're then covering Iron Lung, and that's directed by Mark Fishback. And then finally, newly released now in theaters, the very well-received Backrooms, killing it at the box office here, and that's directed by the very young Kane Parsons. So let's get Vincent Daly in the chair, hear what he has to say about these films. Stay tuned and enjoy the show. Vincent Daly, how are we doing across the table, my friend?
Tommy boy, how's it going?
It was a YouTube week. I like the theme of the week, I have to say.
I was actually really happy with all these kind of put together because it's all indie internet horror.
Yes.
A lot of them were video game related. The only episode title I had other than indie internet horror episode was Red, White, and Yellow, because all of these films are like one primary color.
Oh.
That you're just bombarded with on screen constantly. So,
but that was the idea of. I mean, I had never heard of Exit 8. I mean, I have to be honest. Mm-hmm. But basically, Mark Fishback, director of Iron Lung, that goes by YouTube name Markiplier.
Yeah,
started on YouTube.
So you say it like that, it's like Markiplier's like massive. It's just like, I believe his name is Markiplier.
I haven't heard of him. I haven't heard about him until this week.
Yeah,
this year.
Very tippy top.
And then Kane Parsons with Backrooms. Did you know who Kane Parsons was before?
Yes, I never watched Kane Pixel's stuff. He does all types of internet horror.
Yeah.
He has the Backrooms series. He also has kind of like a mall Backrooms series. It's like mall liminal horror, creepy space type of stuff. But I was aware of him. Kind of was scratching my head over just like, wow, he gets the claim of Backrooms. I mean, the Backrooms kind of belongs to the internet. Well, you know what I mean?
Yes, but what it sounds like is he really took and ran with it the most.
Yes.
Like, people watched his stuff the most. He was the one that really worked at it and worked with a lot of different people to get the screenplay made.
Yep.
So, young guy, 20 years old, making this film, pretty impressive.
Big moves.
I listened to an interview, too, with him, and I'm impressed by him. He's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he'll be around, that's for sure. So, anything else? I mean, this week, opening notes, anything you have to say?
Well,
where did Exit 8 come from? And why was this? Because Markiplier, very YouTube guy.
Yep.
Kane Parsons, YouTube guy.
Yep.
Who is Genki Karamura? Or what is Exit 8?
Yeah, not so much to do with the creator there. Exit 8 is a liminal horror video game that works in that same type of like creepy, almost uncanny valley space of it.
One more time for us and across the table here, liminal horror is what again?
So a liminal space is basically a environment that looks slightly off. Looks maybe familiar, but something's not quite right.
Unsettling about it.
Exactly.
But like always a room, always something small.
Yes, always contained. An environment.
Yeah, okay.
Never really like, specific things. In a liminal space, there can be creepy stuff. There, in many different things, there are creepy anomalies, there's monsters, there could be a psychological element to it, but it's always about the room itself, the environment itself.
You can't have it over an open field.
No.
Because I was thinking maybe the OG,
was like
the OG liminal horror, I think, is The Wizard of Oz. That's what's coming to mind here.
those sets never sat right with you.
No, never.
Never really sat right with you. But yeah, I'll give a kind of breakdown when we talk about Backrooms, even Exit 8, because those are definitely stylistically very close to each other. But in general, liminal horror is taking that idea of a liminal space, something that doesn't feel quite right, something that feels maybe a little alien.
Okay.
And that experience of like Uncanny Valley, we talk about that with like CGI and whatnot, a similar kind of involuntary response to say like, oh, this creeps me out.
Right. Something that maybe on the surface level looks mundane, but gives you a feeling of dread of some sort.
Exactly.
I guess I just never really knew what the word liminal was. I don't think I ever had that in my vocabulary.
Yeah, I can't say I knew it before coming across this type of stuff
in the genre.
Yeah, and it's been big online. I mean, as far as like what we'll call internet folk horror, like a Slender Man or something like that. Really, any kind of like mega viral horror type of thing that's online. One, like I said, it's not really owned by anyone, so I was kind of shocked that Kane Parsons was able to kind of claim that, and A24 was able to claim that. But it's been around for a while, just like floating around between video games, short stories, internet posts, forum stuff.
It makes sense that YouTube took off with it.
Yeah,
people make their own content.
Exactly, they give their spin to it. But yeah,
which I mean, I'm down. I mean, we've been big proponents of the YouTube to theater pipeline, basically.
Yeah,
and if YouTube having this thing, I like this creepy horror stuff spawning from this, and fans and a lot of people look at something about the comment thing, and when you start out small on YouTube and you build an audience, but they're very close to you, and you're kind of critiquing and making your own voice. I like that pipeline more than a Jason Blum pipeline.
Sure, even if the money's behind them,
Well, but my point is like lower budget horror, which Blumhouse often can kind of do. You know what I mean? It's just I much prefer what we have going on here because it's just so much heart and effort and interest that's coming from it. So it's been great. It's been great to see from a distance because I'm not a horror guy. I've been enjoying it. Whatever. It's been good looking inside the room.
I mean, between this and Obsession, Backrooms and Obsession, I mean, there's going to be a serious conversation at the end of the year of just like this is a landmark moment for indie horror, period.
And I mean, we were covering it all the way back with one room movie, the Filippo brothers. Which one was that?
Not Talk to Me.
Was it the Filippo brothers that did the one where there's just like the kid in the room or in the house by himself? Oh, Skinamarink. Who did
Skinamarink?
Was that Filippo?
No, that wasn't. I forget who did Skinamarink.
That was
but absolutely,
guy.
That is liminal horror, where it's like so much of the experience is just kind of scanning the frame and looking for something creepy, and maybe even expecting something creepy. It's the tension of just like, ooh, is something gonna be here?
That's another one then. Yeah. Because he was the same deal from YouTube. He started asking his subscribers for some of their nightmares, and he would try to like recreate nightmares, kind of, or whatever. I mean, they were just like scary thoughts, cool. And it's very cool. So we have him, and the Filippo brothers were.
Yes.
As well, YouTube.
Yep. More, I believe, comedy, I want to say.
Yeah.
But, listen, I'm not, like I said in both of those reviews, I was not in the Australian YouTube algorithm to pick up the Rakapaka or whatever their channel was called. So.
Well, I love dipping my toe in this. I love seeing it all. I mean, it's again, I don't know any of these guys. It's been great. I mean, you said Markiplier's huge on YouTube. Wouldn't know.
It's so wild.
I mean, listen, my algorithms are a mess.
Right. Oh, we don't have. That's gonna be a whole episode. Tom's YouTube recommendations. We're gonna get some very odd music. We're gonna get some MRE reviews.
We're gonna get MRE reviews. We're gonna get some accordion covers. Definitely accordion covers. My man, Jackson Perotti, all the way.
Yeah. We start plugging now them. I don't know if we've eclipsed them just yet.
But okay, all right. So I already gave the goat away. I did go see Backrooms.
Yes.
Which didn't get a chance to see it with you. You had a good crew.
Yeah.
So, but I was able to go see a late Sunday night showing, so very excited. Got to see that. I did not watch Exit 8 or Iron Lung. I was
totally fine.
I was aware of Iron Lung months ago when it came out.
Yeah.
Because not that it was getting buzz, I think it almost seemed like YouTube was happy that this guy was getting his go.
Oh, 100%.
And he was making money as well. Now, the reviews coming in were not the strongest, I have to say, but people were excited that it happened, is what I was getting from it.
Definitely. A little bit of right time, right place. It was in January that I think it launched, or January, February. So
something like that.
it did well for respectively to its budget. It did well for the YouTube pipeline, but it also did well just because like nothing else was doing
Dumpuary.
well. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm glad you watched one of these. Ideally either Exit 8 or Backrooms. Ideally, just because you get it now of like what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know, if I can't even succinctly describe what liminal horror is or what a liminal space is, you know it by the look of it. You know what I mean?
No, you
know
did a
it
great
by
job. You totally did a good job
tinge of, you know, the yellow, you know.
Yes.
The office, the endless offices.
And if I was going to watch one, it was absolutely going to be Backrooms.
Agreed.
I mean, the way you blew up. It was, come on.
Agreed.
But with that, I think let's jump back to Exit 8. Original title, 8-ban da Gucci.
Oh, wow.
So
oddly more succinct on the English title.
Came out technically in 2025. Did this? I don't know if it had a proper theater release at all in the States.
Yes, it did. It was released in September in Japan, and then came to the States in March.
Okay. So we're not too far off. It'll probably be on a streamer then soon. Hour and 35 minutes, rated PG-13 here in the States. So anyway, you break down Exit 8 and tell us about the film.
This was on my radar. Back in September, I was in Japan, and this was in theaters. So I'm kind of kicking myself. I didn't know when I would incorporate it into an episode. I was kind of curious about this.
You want to get subtitles, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I mean, you would literally be...
I would have to use my broken Japanese to ask if there was like a subtitle showing, you know, and that probably
sitting there with Google Translate the entire time. It's 5 seconds
over
off.
the screen, watching my phone overlap the screen. But yeah, Exit 8 is a Japanese-made indie horror that adapts a Japanese-made indie video game of the same name. Exit 8 is a game that belongs to a little subgenre I'll call observational horror. We got a lot of subgenres here. We got liminal horror, we got observational horror.
We're hanging on.
Yeah. Bear with me here. A type of observational horror game. There's a lot of these in like the kind of the indie gaming space. Is where you kind of cycle through the same environment over and over again, trying to spot little differences, and usually there's kind of a horror spin to missing the differences, you know. It could be incorrect spelling, something oriented differently, or something a lot more. In the game specifically, you walk down repeating layers of a Japanese train station where wildly different anomalies appear to disturb, trick, or outright kill you. That's the game. But most importantly to this episode, the eerie, clean emptiness of the space you explore is what puts it side by side with our liminal horror of the Backrooms, which, again, an environment or space that kind of hits an uncanny valley, seeing it empty, seeing it unpopulated, or as you normally remember it to be. Exit 8, the movie, traps you in that same looping subway station and creates a psychological horror that works mostly in its liminal creepiness, its atmosphere, but also translate a lot of the problem-solving key to the game itself. Our story introduces the Lost Man, a young Japanese man trying to get to his temp job and dodging the responsibilities of his pregnant ex-girlfriend. He finds himself pulled into one particular leg of the train station, Exit 8, confoundingly finding the same hallway over and over and over again in an infinite maze of sanitized white tile. Scrambling through his looping dimension, he finds odd instructions pulled exactly from the game, telling him that if he finds any anomalies, he has to turn back immediately. But coming across stranger and stranger occurrences puts the pressure on him to escape this trap, most of all when the labyrinth seemingly becomes a reflection of what he is running away from. Even that kind of intro, you can see where Backrooms, similar space.
100%.
Almost just a different kind of flavor in how they're communicating the creepiness, the unsettlingness of what liminal horror is. I think it's cool how this movie really starts committed to the first-person view, exactly like the game. Actually, all three of our movies this week make an effort to kind of initially present themselves exactly like their source material, which I've talked about it before with video game adaptations or different adaptations of nerd stuff in the past. We are living in a golden age, people, a night and day of like, I mean, next week we're going to cover the He-Man 87 movie and like how not He-Man that's going to be. We're living in a golden age of like, if you get an adaptation, it kind of feels like what you want it to be, which is just not the case as, you know, in when I was growing up, like the decades of like, oh, this is an adaptation of this. It's not going to feel like anything like the game. All three of these movies make a concerted effort to feel like their material.
That's
which is
good.
Great.
I mean, I would push back. I would say maybe in the indie space that's true, but was Mortal Kombat really like the game? Its original source
the
material.
floating scoreboard. Don't make me bring it up again.
I'm just saying.
No, that's a good point. That's good. There still is studio bullshit that kind of come up with these. This first-person view is exactly how the game looks like, though. I can respect it. On the other hand, I definitely was happy to see that it wasn't going to be the full 90 minutes of that as well, because one of the better parts of this was the story they created around it. As far as video game adaptations go, however, this was pretty damn great in how authentic it was in turning the concept into a movie. From the rules of the game to video game logic within the world, and probably most important to fans, callbacks to the scariest anomalies within the game. I think the fact that this whole plot is problem solving on how to escape it is very game-like in its experience. And honestly, even the little mental checklist the characters make in trying to navigate the maze, the kind of like the audible, like, okay, that's there, that sign's there, it kind of mimics what many players do in these type of observational games. You kind of naturally kind of just make a mental checklist of it. So I thought that was a nice match. This definitely is inspired in a very good way to the source material. Now, as far as this concept being actually scary, I think we're in a much better place than something like 2023 Skinamarink, which you brought up, Tom.
Right, yeah. That was proto this. I mean, that was...
yeah. Absolutely. There's something there that they were trying to translate it. It's cool. I always remember, I don't know what movie we were walking out of, but we walked by a showing of Skinamarink, and we peeked our head in. We never really do that, but we peeked our head in, and I was like, oh, this looks cool.
I do remember that. Oh, I wish I remember what theater we're going into.
Yeah.
And that did disappoint, to an extent. But it's funny. It's just like, boy, what 2 years can do.
Yeah, to refine. I think Skinamarink, and even going back to that review, all of its tension comes from vibes, just the vibes of the space, and that's necessary to it. Thankfully, all of our movies this week have a lot more going on. All of these movies this week, there is not a lot of story to any of the source material as far as like narrative, real story, dialogue, anything you can pull from. So all of these are punched up quite a bit. Now, don't get me wrong, this is still asking a lot out of you since it's the same hallway for the entire movie. We don't break from the hallway. I will say, though, the anomalies and the little drama to the storytelling made this really enjoyable. I think a fair criticism to the scares in this is that with the rules as they're set up, as soon as you see something scary, you just turn around. Like, that's what the maze wants you to do. But these characters and this storyline flesh out a whole narrative that is not there at all in the original game. And what surprised me so much was we got some pretty damn good acting here.
Okay.
Kaz Nino. Oh,
go ahead.
There it is. Oh, we're gonna be stumbling all episode because
Kazunari Ninomiya.
Ninomiya, yep. He plays our lead, and then Yamato Kochi plays the unsettling walking man. Both were awesome, like legitimately awesome. Maybe it's just very Japanese, just like how much they fly off the lid a little bit. But I really loved how much these actors were giving their all to like the mental breakdowns kind of key to the story. And for something that wasn't even remotely part of the original was really great. It was really, really interesting.
Super important for these films. Yeah. And even like, again, I can only really speak to Backrooms this week. But I will say, even as the movie was going on, I was thinking, these guys are going to have to really sell it. Like, whatever is happening here, because if it actually was happening in real life, just, I want to see some panic on these faces.
Yeah.
I want to feel their unnervousness. And luckily in Backrooms, that was a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that really boils down to the defining difference between something like Skinamarink, where it doesn't have meat on the bones. It has the bones, and from some perspective, I think that might be enough when you realize the objective of the movie or that style is just to creep you out. It's not meant to like outright scare you. But all of these were, they were trying to be horror movies and big movies. So Now, part of the difficulty in translating the experience of liminal spaces to the movies is kind of around the baked-in video game logic to a lot of the style. In this, it's the concept of an infinite looping level. In Backrooms, it'll be the concept of no clipping through a wall behind a level. Both are video game things, you know what I mean? So the challenge both of these movies have is making that make sense for a normal audience in the concept of a movie, in the concept of like a closed story, so to speak. And while this style might not work for everyone, I think both films really nail what's so alluring about this style in the first place. It's that slowly peeking around corners, always flirting with a jump scare, even if the jump scare may not be there at all. It might be just the confusion of the space that you're met with around the corner. I think that becomes a perfect match for Exit 8 because it's about spotting the little differences in the environment. So while you subtly lean forward in your seat to get a closer look, the risk of getting spooked, the risk of getting that jump scare and really hitting you increases because of your investment. And that's the type of engagement with a horror story that I find is pretty rare and I think is well worth checking out for that reason. We're going to go ahead and give Exit 8 a 69.
Okay, 69%, pretty good for this small Japanese film.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this a lot. I mean, it was small, wasn't as small as Iron Lung, but it was like it was a satisfying little story.
I think the budget on it was under $2 million, I want to say.
Yeah,
which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think younger me might have slashed all these movies and said, "Oh, it's just make it a Twilight Zone episode." But I feel like there's an effort to make all these movies something more.
Like you said, punch it up.
Yeah.
A concerted effort too. It was 68? I'm sorry, 69.
69.
69, okay, sorry. Okay, that's a pretty good score for that film. I hope it comes to a streaming that we can see it. I would rent this as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you can rent it on Amazon right now.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Exit 8 Bandaguchi with a 69%. Okay, well, let's head on over to the States. As we talked about, Iron Lung did come out earlier this year.
Yeah.
It just came out on streaming this weekend. So if interested, go ahead and check that out. Very fresh. He's got the record, this Markiplier fella. The record,
you're getting up to speed on
the record for the most blood used in a horror film.
Oh, so did not know that.
The old record
was
2013's Evil Dead. If you had to guess what that record was for most blood used, most fake blood used.
Actual gallons?
Yes.
Or, I have no idea.
Okay, 30,000.
Okay.
Iron Lung?
Yep.
Oh, wait, no, it was 50,000. 50,000 for Evil Dead. 50,000 gallons of blood. Iron Lung, 30,000 more than that. 80,000 gallons of fake blood.
Wow.
He got too much in his eyes one day, had to go to the hospital. Old Mark Fishback did it. So
there's definitely some scenes that make sense.
We didn't cover it when it came out.
Yeah.
We were covering other things, but here we go. Now that it's new to streaming, set up Iron Lung and definitely tell us about this bloody affair.
Well, my very first joke was I actually didn't write it. I just have in parentheses joke about the Titanic submersible implosion because
okay.
No?
Oh, yeah.
It's just, you have a movie about a submarine, tight little submarine, little submersible.
Oh, we should have saved this for the... Yeah, no, it's good, Vin. It's good.
Well, I didn't write the joke, so it's just like a joke for me.
Ran out of time.
Yeah.
Boy, this could go in... I was kind of toying with the submarine episode.
Yeah.
And this belongs right in there.
I don't know if it does. I think there's better cuts for the submarine episode. But yeah, like we said already, this dropped in January and made a decent splash for what undoubtedly will become a talking point at the end of the year about indie filmmakers and box office returns. Honestly, the articles are buzzing already about that way. But there's, this 100% will be part of that because it was very successful in turning a profit.
I believe it was $3 million of his own dollars he put into it, so he didn't really have any other financing, which is cool.
Yep.
But $3 million of his own money, and I think it walked away with around 51 at the box office.
Yep, that's what I have as well. The movie made, of course, by the gaming YouTuber Markiplier, Mark Fishbach, and was just an unusual hit as an indie movie, no less a indie video game adaptation, and I think that's even like kind of regardless of the lack of competition early on in the year. This was unexpected on so many levels that it was a hit at all. Iron Lung is a horror video game where you pilot a rusty vessel through a sea of blood. It's tight, it's claustrophobic, but it's also not the most narratively driven game, once again, that you would want to make a movie out of. I feel like before seeing any of these movies, I was just scratching my head of just like, this is going to be 2 hours? Like, of what?
It's 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy. So with this kind of semi-big impact it made in theaters, it made me curious when it came out if this was all on the back of existing fans, or was there actually a worthwhile movie underneath? The answer to that is yeah, kind of. Iron Lung, the movie, is appropriately claustrophobic for what it's adapting, but focuses more on psychological, survival, and even cosmic themes for its horror. The opening intro pretty much sets up everything you need to know about both the game and the movie, which I pretty much think is ripped right from the game. During the space age of humanity, a cataclysmic event called the Quiet Rapture causes all colonies, planets, and even stars to blip out of existence. The only life left behind is found on space stations, who now are tasked unraveling the more disturbing mystery of celestial bodies forming entire oceans of blood for some reason. That's basically the setup of Iron Lung as a universe. This brings in our lead character, played by Mark Plyer himself, the nameless convict that is sent down into an endless amount of blood in nothing more than a rusty submarine. While we piece together what criminally he actually is convicted of, his hostile boss in space makes it clear that he is nothing more than a dangling bait on a fishhook with a one-way ticket down. But lies and deception swirl around the true nature of the blood. And even though he may be determined to survive this nightmarish job, it's hard to say how much control any living being has over their life in a dead universe. There's a lot of cool concepts here. Playing the game Iron Lung, did I ever once think like, oh yeah, this would make a great movie? No. Right. But as far as like cool sci-fi, cool horror concepts, Iron Lung is cool.
Yes.
I think also you would love the game because you're piloting a submarine blind with just coordinates on a map. Like it's very like it's not, I wouldn't say like hardcore, but it's kind of like
arcadey?
No, it's like an enthusiast. Like if you're into like piloting submarines, and, you know what I mean? I feel like you could get like all about this.
Yeah, I probably could. Could. Now, where's this real sci-fi? The only real sci-fi aspect of this film coming out basically is just that we know that there's outworldly celestial beings that are doing this to the human race, of knocking them off here or there.
Not even that. It's just that it is in the spacefaring age. Like, humanity has colonized a lot of the galaxy.
So are we even taking place on Earth?
No. We are on like an alien moon.
Okay, gotcha. Yep.
Yeah. And there's so much there that it's hostile. It's a different type of society that is brought about because of this catastrophe, but also because it's so far future. It's a darker version. And also, it may not be liminal horror, as our other two movies are linked by, but the game itself does come a bit closer to that style in its loneliness. It's a very lonely game. Again, you have a map, and you have a total of 3 buttons on this submarine, and you have to pilot effectively through a chasm.
Is it a long game? I mean,
not really.
Okay, I was going to say there's not.
You stop and you take a picture with an X-ray camera, and then it's like, oh, there's something creepy, and that's the whole game.
Wow. Okay.
Again,
and he turned it into a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
An over 2-hour movie of it.
Yeah. But like all 3 movies this week, a lot is done to, once again, punch up the story that is practically non-existent before it. And I'll talk about that story in a second, but let's talk about if this is actually scary or not. I feel like tension in this comes from just how tight the space is. The moment-to-moment beats of the film are given just a whole array of slow burn techniques to build the horror. I mean, it is a lot of slow dripping blood shots, and a lot of staring at creepy X-ray pictures to see if there's actually something there. The result is an intentionally slow experience, but one that felt painful at times when you're reminded it's over 2 hours long.
Yeah, okay.
One that, multiple times in the film, I give it a quick pause just to check the time. And I hate doing that, but just to check the time, I go, "There's this much left?" I think the first one was like 43 minutes, and the next one was at an hour even.
Ooh.
And I was like, you're
halfway through.
What's
literally.
going on here? Like, this is a lot of movie for not a lot of content. But I do think this still works off the concept alone, even though it's not as lo-fi as the game, doesn't have the same atmosphere as the game, but that what's core there, Iron Lung is a really cool concept, as a sci-fi horror. So much of its atmosphere comes from just sheer darkness and the light of that X-ray camera flickering, which later in the film is used disturbingly to show how the submarine itself kind of is exchanging rust for blood. It's kind of fusing with the blood around it. This combination of cosmic madness, body horror, and sci-fi reminds me a lot of something like Event Horizon from 1997, which we got to get around to rating that on the website. But there's a pretty big fan base, or kind of cult fan base, of that film online, and I think this one, oddly enough, fits side by side with it because of that exact mix of it's sci-fi, but it's not like future-y. It's horror, but it's mostly gross. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
it's that kind of mixed together. The issue with this project, unfortunately, is clear as day, however. The movie has more dialogue in the first 30 seconds than there is in the entire game. And like I said, a lot has to be done to punch this up narratively. It begs the question, is part of the appeal of Iron Lung just a cold, indifferent silence in the first place? Is maybe the mix of why it was a good experience as a game that you don't have a lot of people talking at the same time, or orders being barked down from a space station, or our main character just exposition dumping as like internal crazy monologues. It's just it's constant. It's constant. The drama here is super inflated. People fly off the handle constantly in what aims for like big acting moments, but just kind of comes off feeling cheap.
Yeah.
You can really feel this in the relationship Mark has with his reporting command, which just like the entire movie, I was just saying, like, listen, I get, like, humanity's not on their A game, but, like, Command is, like, less polished than him going crazy in the submarine. You know what I mean? It's just like, what? There's no organization. Like, what? This? I have no confidence in this leadership.
You're not buying it. You're not buying it.
I'm not buying it. Mark acting in his own movie largely doesn't work as well, mostly because the character is just constantly mumbling exposition and never shuts up. But without him being the face of this, I kind of ask, who knows if it would have had any pull in the box office.
Well, I think, listen, I mean, he's acting, directing, and writing here. I don't think he needs to be doing all three.
Yes.
I think if he's
I think the acting is cut.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, his name is probably big enough. The fact that, because everything, nobody was talking about this when this came out before, of Markiplier starring in his own movie. It was just like, Markiplier has a movie coming out. It was the fact that he was directing the film.
Exactly.
That was a bigger deal.
Exactly.
So you probably could have went and got somebody different or better or bigger.
Yeah. And the directing is there because there's like I said, there's a lot of cool stuff to build atmosphere, a lot of interesting stuff to translate the concept from the video game to the movie. But
he wasn't translating it.
He was not translating.
Acting.
Yeah, it's the acting. It's a little bit of the writing as well. It's two sides of the same coin. I mean,
okay.
Now, I counted about like 9+ F-bombs here, and I just was saying like, oh, this isn't your dad's YouTube video.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, you're really trying hard to, to really make an edgy type of thing. I was just like, nah, man. Iron Lung was so confident on its own, so confident in its silence, that this was just like drowned in its own dialogue.
Now this guy and his YouTube page and stuff, his movies he would do, or what kind of content was it? Was he starring?
Oh, he's a gaming YouTuber.
Oh, that's it. So
yeah.
he wasn't making short
he
films.
He played Iron Lung. I mean, I don't follow Markiplier, but he played Iron Lung as part of like his normal thing, and presumably that's how he connected with the creator.
So he never did short stories or anything like that, or short films that he was starring in.
No, but like as a lot of the top creators in that space thrive on, it's horror games are what get a lot of the clicks.
Of course. Yeah.
So Markiplier as a horror, I mean, it connected to Five Nights at Freddy's, connected to Slender Man, literally anything you can kind of classify as like that internet horror.
Yeah, it's a dedicated following.
Exactly. So this was, lower hanging fruit because it was an indie production. I believe the creator is listed as a writer. I don't know how deep that collaboration goes. But
I think it was mostly him. I think it was mostly Fishback doing this.
Yeah.
Now, what exactly, so the direction had something to it?
Yeah, it really just comes down to, this is a cool sci-fi concept. This is, metal as hell. You know what I mean? This is, ocean of blood. This is awesome.
Concept-wise, yes.
Yeah.
How did it look?
I think it did look good. And I think, again, the set, what the benefit of it is it's literally a submarine. That could be a huge negative, that it's, a one-room movie, could be visually boring. There's a lot done to get mileage out of that single set. And I think that's the good piece about this.
Would we put this in one-room movies, compilations on the site, or it's not good enough? Well, how about this? We'll wait for you to finish that. I'm jumping the gun.
It is a one-room movie by definition, though.
Yes, yeah.
Even at points where I thought he's pulled up out of the ocean and he's talking to people through a window or whatever. I thought he was going to at least walk around a space station or something like that. No, none of it. We are encapsulated.
$3 million. Yep,
exactly.
Most of them went to fake blood. It sounds like
mostly. Folks, I would say much like Chris Stuckman's horror movie from last year, Shelby Oaks, the experience is sunk a bit by how much it feels like amateur hour, and I hate to say that. Sometimes we've even talked about amateur hour being a good thing. Where it's mostly when talking about 90s movies.
Okay.
Pie comes to mind, Run Lola Run comes to mind, where it's I like the roughness of it, But
yes.
that's also maybe my 90s.
Nolan's first film.
Yeah, that's my 90s brain. Yeah, exactly. The following. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Following.
Yep. So yeah, not often that I compliment with amateur hour, but this is on the bad end of that. This is on the intendedly, me calling it, like that. I feel like this just for sure looked and felt like a big scale YouTube video at times, and that isn't helped by these rookie acting elements and the rookie writing elements. If anything, you have one tentpole holding it up, which is the set design and the concept, but that's about it. I'll admit a lot of cool stuff is done with that set design. Maybe is once again, the most important part of adapting the game is that feel of the inside of the submarine. But I don't think this is doing much for anyone that isn't already a fan of either Markiplier or the indie game itself. We're going to go ahead and give Iron Lung a 51.
Okay, a 51%, just a tick above absolute average, essentially. Now,
here's where I would put in the joke about the Titanic submersible.
Okay. Now, would you give this guy another green light?
I think so.
Okay, build on it and do something better next time.
I think he's going to do it. I think he's absolutely going to have the opportunity because this is now getting up to speed in the space, and he's going to benefit from all the talk about this YouTuber to horror pipeline.
Yeah.
Because he has one under the belt.
Yep. And it made money. It wasn't a failure.
Yeah. If anything, I feel bad for whatever the guy's name that did Skinamarink and whatnot, because it's he kind of was too early for the boat.
How about that, huh?
Yeah. I'd be real.
He also could have made a slightly better movie. He probably could have made a better movie, though, too.
Right. But to be swept up in this hype train that's happening right now.
This was the year to do it.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 of them right here in 1 year.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. So that's 51% for Iron Lung. Well, folks, before we get to our last film, just want to remind people that me and Vin here, the Daily Ratings, we're not going to have any advertising. That's on the website and on the podcast. We're not going to be taking ad breaks for a bunch of products that we don't care about between every single film. We're also not going to have a payment tier structure or payment walls, like you need to give us a certain amount of money, or like Patreon, give us a certain amount of money a month in order to get the content or in order to get bonus content. We don't want to do that because, one, everybody's on their own finances. And 2, everybody might be getting something different from the Daily Ratings. Some people might really like us, but only check in every few months or something like that because they're not the biggest movie fans, but they want to hear what Vin has to say about something specific. And then we have people who are stopping by every single week. It's a different kind of value they're getting. So Vin Daily and I, we're going off the value for value model. Are you finding the Daily Ratings valuable? The website, the podcast, you checking in, or are you stopping into the website, seeing if something's worth a watch? If you are, we look at that as value in your pocket. So can you send us value back in our pocket? So we are completely listener supported here. And when you do monetarily support us, you become an actual legitimate credited producer of the Daily Ratings. Because just like in Hollywood, when you financially support the project, you're a producer of the project. And that's how we're doing it here. So in this segment, in this producer thanks segment, it's when we'll give a shout out to all those who have financially donated into the show. And we would love if you sent a producer note in, and we'd read it here as well. So when you go to thedailyratings.com, head to the donations tab, and everything is laid out there on the page for you. So there's set donations to send in, and there's the big value for value button where you can just click that, and it's whatever amount you want. If you want to do a really small amount and make it monthly, you can do that too. And the cool thing is, please send in a producer note. So our email is tom.vin@thedailyratings.com. That's the email address. And we want to hear from our producers. Do you have critiques or love or praise for the show? Do you have hate for the show? We want to hear from you. If you want to ask us anything or start a conversation, add to a conversation we've been having on the show, we would love to hear from you. And again, we'll address it right here in the producer thanks segment. If you want to be anonymous in your note, just say, hey, keep me anonymous, and we'll honor that. Again, it's thedailyratings.com. Please do stop by the donations page. It means the world to us. It helps this thing keep going, and it really does go somewhere. So is it a cup of coffee a week? Is it a cup of coffee a month? Hell, if you just say, hey, really like that show, going to send in $5, $10, we appreciate it. We have costs every month. We have costs every year. So a little bit really does go a long way. A lot of these other podcasts will shill out 6, 7, 8 different ad breaks to you, and they're really just looking for your download numbers where they can shop that around at different ad agencies, basically. And it's a worse product. We just want to talk movies. We want to talk movies, thank our producers, and then keep it going. We don't want to ruin the podcast with a bunch of ads. So just keep that in mind. If you appreciate it, if you appreciate the lack of ad breaks compared to all the other podcasts you're listening to, Vin and I put a lot of time into this every single week. And again, there is the financial cost. Although small, because we keep it slim here, we still do have some. So is it a cup of coffee, $5? If $500 is not a lot of money to you, hey, we would greatly appreciate that. You can do whatever you want. Again, dailyratings.com. Please head by the donations page and become a producer today. Okay, Vin, let's head on into the theaters. As I said, I saw a late Sunday night showing. 9:45 at the Dolby Cinema. Was a great packed crowd. A very cool
Good for the Dolby
experience
as well. The amount of echoey footsteps used in this film, I think, oddly enough, paid off for Dolby.
So I was very busy this weekend, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just wait for it to come on streaming, and I'll see it for the end of the year, at least.
Sure, your catch-up list.
But because I was like, wow, is this Backrooms really going to be necessary in the theater? And turns out I had a great time in Dolby. Like, I loved it.
Yeah.
Totally added to it. Really appreciated that I went. And that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know where you're at. I kind of left the door open twice a little bit to get a single reaction from you, and you're keeping your cards really close to your chest. Because there are some reviews not feeling it.
Yeah.
Everybody is freaking out about a box office.
Right.
Because $10 million budget, very young guy, YouTube guy, and now it did better than Mando. It made $82 million opening weekend.
Yes.
It made even more, of course, worldwide. It is crushing it right now. It's making so much money, and more will definitely be made by this guy. We'll kind of get into that in the review.
Sure.
But yeah, that's what's really being talked about as far as the film itself. Mostly good reviews I'm seeing, but also not like hundreds,
Right. There's a weird scattering. I feel like you have a very small minority of hardcore Backrooms fan base where they're either, not exactly happy with the changes to lore, changes to the world,
of course,
even within his
fans.
own stuff.
Yep.
I think there's also a population of critics that just like kind of don't get it. You know what I mean? And don't get that hook of like, it's not meant to like really, really scare the piss out of you. It's kind of meant to just like really unsettle you all the way through.
Right. And then at the end of it are they sitting there being like wowed by it, or are they kind of drained almost?
Yeah, true. Right. They're just kind of like, all right, well,
right.
Well, I'm done with that.
So I'm dying to talk about this with you.
Yeah.
I do kind of have, so I get a newsletter, like a newsletter every morning.
Okay.
That's pretty well curated. And it's kind of like unbiased. It just gives you whatever. And there's always 3 main stories that they start with.
Okay.
And the one was...
This is not a plug, by the way.
No, it's not. But the one was on Backrooms, and I just kind of liked the summary they gave.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sure I might be stepping on some of your notes.
Sure.
But I really liked how they kind of laid this out, just to start things before I toss it to you. So, horror film Backrooms is projected to have grossed more than $81 million domestically and $118 million worldwide in its opening weekend. The haul marks the best debut in A24's history. The movie's concept dates back to a message board on 4chan. In 2019, an anonymous user posted an image of an empty, yellow wallpapered room and encouraged others to upload similarly disquieting images. The photo, by the way, was taken at a former Wisconsin furniture store in the early 2000s.
Oh, wow. It was a furniture store. Oh, that's nice.
So one user characterized the image as Backrooms, and with the concept inspiring a YouTube series by the then 16-year-old director Kane Parsons. A24 tapped Parsons to adapt his series into a feature-length film, and at age 20, he is the youngest director in the company's history. So that just kind of gives us...
Disquieting is also another good word. Of like trying to explain the experience
of liminal horror too.
Yeah, exactly. The aims of the horror genre is not meant to really, really just be the scariest thing ever. You know what I mean? It's aiming for more like a under your skin type of approach to it. Disquieting.
Right,
I think it's
exactly. Great. So that kind of sets us up. So Backrooms, I mean, I was saying, his whole YouTube thing, and what you said earlier, it's not like he owns Backrooms.
Yeah.
But it does sound like he was putting some of the most effort into his channel into making the Backroom stuff.
Yeah, certainly the largest and most successful with it.
And then I think some writers kind of hit him up, and he was having meetings with writers, working on a screenplay, and then he went to other writers. They continued to critique it. They went to another writer, critiqued it from there.
Yep.
And then he actually started shopping it around. So he did have some help to kind of... this YouTube stuff that he was doing to really make it punch up, as we were saying,
yes,
into something, into a featurette and something that actually has lines and a proper screenplay.
Yeah, for real.
But regardless, let's get into it. You set up Backrooms, and we'll take it back and forth.
Well, I'm by no means an internet historian, but I'll try to kind of get everyone up to speed on the origins of this, like you introduced. I think that was great. And just really as like the latest, greatest internet folk horror. Like we talked about already in the episode, or for people jumping ahead just to this review, a liminal space comes from, seeing an empty room, an environment, and feeling some sort of dread or unease from it. The best examples of this kind of creates, once again, an almost uncanny valley effect, where we talk about that with CGI. There's an involuntary kind of pushback to unexplainably be creeped out by it. One of the earliest posts I personally came across floating around the internet of this was a picture of like a Russian hotel's inner courtyard that if you looked closely, there was no way to actually get into the courtyard. It was like inaccessible. And I was just like, oh, okay, I kind of get this, But like you intro, Tom, since about 2019, these liminal spaces are archived on anything from Reddit to 4chan by everyone from urban explorers to kind of like take real pictures of these examples to more kind of creepypasta writers, internet, kind of horror writers to it. But like so much internet folk horror out there, no one person really owns it. Slenderman being another great example of this, where it's just like, well, Slenderman's in a lot of stuff that is not necessarily even named Slenderman. So there's a lot there of just like everyone's taking a piece. Out there are many versions of the Backrooms, especially lending to the video games that they're included in. But many content creators utilize that gray area to make their videos with their own spin on it, and that's what brings in our director of the hour. Kane Parsons, a.k.a. Kane Pixels, is his YouTube channel. His 22-part video series quickly becoming the most popular version of Backrooms. And flash forward to today, A24 has given him the chance to bring it to the big screen. And I think I'm really happy that they did. I was not ever rooting against this, but I definitely was like, we'll see. We'll see if it comes out.
Okay, all right.
We'll see how it is. But, if the theme of this YouTuber to horror pipeline is beating the odds, I feel like Parsons beat the odds, almost on every level with this.
Yeah, and they gave him $10 million to do it.
Yeah. Exactly. Backrooms takes the essence of what's scary about liminal horror and grows it into a psychological thriller and found footage mystery that will force you to remember it no matter how abstract. Our lead Clark is played by Bear with me here. This is what I was saying earlier in the episode.
my
Of just like,
gosh.
I got a lot of names. Chiwetel
Ejiofor.
Chiwetel Ejiofor. Man, I like this guy.
Yeah, he's
too.
it's a big name.
I know. It's 12 years as a slave. He was all the way back in Serenity. He was the bad guy in Serenity, the Firefly movie. I've always loved this guy. I've always stumbled with his name. Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Ejiofor.
There we go.
Boom.
Also, watch Serenity.
Yeah.
Flashback to Firefly. He is a frustrated and unstable divorced man that owns a shitty discount furniture store. He's been living in the same loop of misery for a while now, which is psychologist, played by, bear with me once again, Renette Rensve. Oh, God,
She has a tough name.
She's tough.
I just learned this for the news.
Renette Rensve.
That's how you would think it is.
Yeah?
But it's more so. Oh, I learned it for the newsletter because she was in Ford. She was in the Fjord. The,
yes.
One that won the.
Yeah,
contest.
she's making waves.
I believe it's Renata Reinsva.
Renata Reinsva.
Yeah, Renata Reinsva. Yeah.
Damn.
I know because you would think it's like Renate, but it's Renata.
Yeah. Doing me dirty. These are these names.
And the other guy in it is Mark Duplass.
Yes. Yeah. Nice. But where was I?
You were talking about and Renata's character.
Yes, she's his psychologist. She kind of empathizes with him on a hidden level. Both of our leads struggle deeply with letting go of the past and whether or not they want to. It's them wanting to give up on their dreams or simply craving the comfort of what's familiar. They separately feel like they do not belong where they're at. One night, among the maze of furniture he can't sell, Clark discovers a sort of slit in reality and slips into the Backrooms, a never-ending labyrinth of randomly generated objects and rooms that look disturbingly offbeat, if not familiar. The deeper Clark goes, the stranger it becomes, the rooms themselves beginning to warp into impossible geometry, and question of who or what might be down there grows frighteningly along with it. I found it very interesting how the challenge of taking this video game-ass concept of clipping through walls, how that played into the serious lore developments within this story. I thought what he was able to do make this kind of make sense for not even the layman, but just like everyone in the audience that hasn't played the games or is not aware of the Backrooms and how it's like kind of internet-y, was great. Really, really great. Believable, too. The supernatural element of what the Backrooms is, how that's laid out, was really satisfying. There's a pretty great line that's used a handful of times in the film to describe the Backrooms. It's like explaining a dog to someone who's never seen a dog before. I think that perfectly captures the unease, which is key to liminal spaces, and how the details become distorted the deeper you go. It's all familiar, but still not quite right. Like when you think back on something and can only remember faint aspects of this, I would say combine that aspect, that translation of what we know the Backrooms is into this now movie form and in this kind of meat on the bones, like we've been saying. Combine that with the themes of nostalgia and painful memories found within the story, and I think Parsons did a fantastic job at translating this concept into something that just makes sense in a movie, not to mention leaving his stamp on the exact nature of the Backrooms, the lore of the Backrooms, in a way that his own video series never did, even. Mm-hmm. So...
Well, right there. I mean, I really, really like this movie.
Good.
I was really pleased with it. I love being in the theater for it.
Yeah.
And what you just said there, I love that both of us are coming at this from two different angles. You knew what Backrooms was.
Yes.
You have seen some of the content.
Mm-hmm.
I not only have never seen it, I have never heard of any of this. Once when I kind of figured out a couple months ago when this was coming out what it was or where it came from, purposely stayed away from it on YouTube.
Okay.
I wanted to have complete fresh eyes. So I have no expectations in any way, and everything got conveyed to me, I think, of what I needed to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't need to have a precursor what the Backrooms is. It's all set up here. If you don't know anything about the YouTube or the YouTube channel, this YouTube guy, it doesn't matter. It is a standalone film that is about this thing that got spawned on the internet, and I felt like I got everything I needed, and was a great standalone film.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming most of the people who are big fans of the onlineness of it in the YouTube and Kane Parsons, I'm assuming most of them did like it. But I'm not surprised that you had mentioned that there's some hardcore fans that are like, he didn't stick with this, or he's messing around with this. Of course, I mean, there's Tolkien heads that hate the Lord of the Rings movies.
That's a great example.
You know?
There is always going to be a sliver of, detractors for it.
Right.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, I'll just say, I left the theater and I was like, I have so many questions, and yet all of the answers I really needed were answered, were given to me.
That's a great take.
And everything I wanted was there, because as I'm watching it, I was thinking a little bit, well, I hope we get this, or I hope I get to see this. And he delivered it for you.
Yeah.
And it's an hour and 45 minutes, and where it goes, it's not like you don't have plenty of questions or plenty of rabbit holes that you can go down in theory crafting on this.
Yep.
But as far as the standalone film and what it gets you, it is complete, and it gives you enough, in my opinion. And really liked it, really appreciated it, totally enjoyed it.
And I think it's a tight package, too, and I won't go into any kind of spoilers, but again, how these themes of just nostalgia in general and thinking back on it.
Yeah.
Our lead, man.
Chiwetel.
No, psychologist.
Renata.
Renata, her character goes through kind of a mourning of seeing her childhood home be demolished, and kind of sets up her ties with nostalgia to what's going on here. Having that intersect in a very well written way for the story, having that intersect with like the nature of the Backrooms, how it feels oddly comfortable despite being a hostile space,
right,
almost a certain madness that comes over you while you're in the Backrooms, all of that is above and beyond what I had expectations for. I'll say there is a thought in my head that Parsons did such a good job with the world building and answering questions without fleshing out every single aspect in an exposition way.
Right.
I mean, I think he did a great job. I cynically kind of think this is so primed to have 30 Backroom sequels.
Okay, so here's the thing.
You know what I mean? I kind of have a little bit of dread in me because it was so good, and I say, oh boy, we're going to get like at least a good 5 of these.
All right, so
because it's such an open palette.
I mean, here is what's going to happen. So, I did leave here and saying like, this feels very. I can see this being TV. I can see this being prestige TV. So then listening to interviews of him, he wants really badly to do a TV show.
Oh,
I think from the get-go he wanted to do a proper prestige TV show.
Sure.
So
I'd be all right with that.
This comes out, and if this did relatively okay, or this caught enough buzz, this made a little bit of money back and did well, then it could be just like, okay, hey, we're getting good reaction of this. Where do you want to take this? You want to do TV? Okay, we're A24. We kind of want to get into prestige TV a little bit.
Maybe HBO Max.
Let's do HBO.
Yeah.
This movie did so well in theaters where it's
inevitable.
Like, no, to me it's like, no, sorry, bro. TV is on hold.
Yes.
You're doing another movie.
100%.
Sorry, we're getting a film out of you.
Yes, 100%.
So it's going to happen. There will be Backrooms too. And he already has ideas for it. And he's very publicly, he's out there saying, this needs to be TV. I want to do TV. I think we are going to get Backrooms 2 sooner rather than later. Yeah. All stemming from him.
I'm with the TV piece because it's episodic. Ultimately, the Backrooms is the setting that we can introduce new characters in as they blip into the dimension.
I don't know if I like... Hey, we have one movie here, and then this spawns a TV show because there's plenty of room to go with the TV show.
Yes.
I would rather just have one or the other. Because now you have. I don't like the cross-platform stuff, much like the MCU of homework.
Yes,
I am cool if I have to watch other movies to catch myself up. Do not make me go and consume a TV show so I can understand your movie.
I 100% agree.
And here we have to watch a movie to understand a TV show if this is how this lays out.
If it is
something, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We're definitely in a spot that we'll see kind of where the cards fall on this. I think the good news for folks, if you haven't seen this movie, one, it's not a matter of like sequel bait. You know what I mean? This isn't trying to be like, it doesn't really even end on like a cliffhanger per se, but I just feel like while you're watching the movie, naturally I felt like there is so much left to explore in this world and even the concept of it that it's like almost a no-brainer that we're going to get more content around it.
And I got to be honest, now is the time where he's going to really struggle because it's can you wow us again?
Yeah, fair.
Like, because it's easy making that first one and wowing because everything's a question mark of how he's going to do it.
Yep.
Okay, now we know how he plays in the sandbox.
Yep.
Even do we bring back our two main leads? You just start fresh. Do you go down the business aspect? It's just there's a lot of directions to go. Where you're right, we might have 20.
Yeah.
I really hope we don't have 5.
Yeah.
If Kane Parsons.
I don't know why 5 seems reasonable, and I don't like that.
It totally seems like we're going to get 5. And I could see video games being spawned off properly.
Yeah. Right, yeah, official video games, not
Yes.
just leeching off of the idea.
But back to the content, that's just is to say that we were enjoying ourselves, it sounds like, both of us in this world a lot.
Absolutely. I think this was so night and day compared to our other 2 movies this week of where, listen, I really enjoyed Exit 8, but it was still definitely an amateur film. This movie was a movie. This was a real movie.
I was surprised how much I liked seeing it in theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad. I could totally see people just waiting for this to go on HBO Max because it's going to be on HBO Max.
Sure.
It's $8.24.
Yeah.
But go buy a ticket. Go.
Yeah. I would encourage you. I kind of cut my notes on some of the soundtrack and sound design, but just footsteps alone in the echoey chamber of these empty rooms.
Fantastic.
Really great. Really great.
Even there's always a constant hum because you had the fluorescent lights going on
Yes.
or just something.
Iconic to Backrooms.
Yeah, and there's a lot we can say about it. I don't know if you wanted. We kind of went off there on a tangent about the sequels, but.
Yeah.
I don't know where you want to go with it because it also is a movie that you do kind of have to experience.
Yes.
'Cause it's either we're talking spoilers or just hey, there's a lot of rooms. The rooms were cool.
There's a lot of rooms. Well, I'll hold off on spoilers as it relates to maybe what you find in the rooms exactly.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's where anyone that has dipped a toe into the Backrooms as internet horror kind of understands what's possible in that sphere.
So
and that's actually where
they weren't shocked at that. You weren't necessarily shocked at the aesthetic look of it.
No. And if anything, again, a small minority of people that are so diehard Backrooms fans, they're actually upset that one specific anomaly, we'll call it, did not show up in this. That is iconic to Kane Pixel's YouTube series.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's actually where some of the, specifically some of the outrage, well, not outrage, but.
Also want to say here, too, bringing up something you said before, where all of these kind of start with. This was very heavy on YouTube as found footage, right?
Yes.
And so it starts like that, and then we get branched out into actual kind of more filmmaking.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool touch.
Yeah, absolutely. That we don't have to commit. We don't have to put a ring on committing to found footage to not use it stylistically.
Right.
I like that.
And it's
splash it in.
And right, exactly. It's peppered in there, and I think very well done. You don't want it to be there too long, and it's not.
Exactly. But really, stylistically is where I was most impressed with this movie, though, because the look of the Backrooms is so important to the experience. Don't get me wrong. There is a lot of horror aspects at play to get scares out of the audience. Like I said, it's probably could be called primarily a psychological thriller, but
right.
There is a lot at play to still try to squeeze this. This still has jump scares. This still has that thriller aspect to it, but the movie has it where it matters because so much of the runtime is still dedicated to exploring the madness that comes with this kind of extra-dimensional space that they enter. The story itself takes place in a bizarro version of the 1990s, which leans to the found footage angle used over the runtime. The opening of the movie as well, like you said just a minute ago, it basically shows us a mini episode of what the Kane Pixel series would have been, which I thought that was really smart. Again, as I commented with all 3 of these movies this week, is just I really like that the intro to the movie was just trying to adapt the source material as accurately and faithful as possible, and then they can break off and do normal movie things. So just really appreciated that. But seriously, the set design of the Backrooms themselves is the star of the show here. Again, the look, this is not just I like the look of it or I like the style of it. It is the style. It is the substance of what the Backrooms is about because that's where the horror comes from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the design of it itself is where the experience lies. The twisted layouts of the rooms constantly disorienting you. I love that throughout the film. I thought I had a good mental map of what layer they were on or how deep they were. And then there was one point that he looped around and I was like, oh, okay, all rules are off. All rules are off. I'm going to just stop, making my mental map.
I would love to see behind the scenes stuff of just like, $10 million budget, how did they make all of these rooms feel like actual different rooms? Because you got to just have the same panels and you're just mixing and matching. Yep. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But they feel
get one
like
thing
a lot
to define
of rooms.
it. Yeah.
One thing I found very interesting too in one of the interviews was saying how into the video game Portal he was.
Oh yeah,
growing up, and that just makes sense. The endless amount of doorways you can go through.
Yes.
And here you go, you're in a new thing.
Absolutely. Even in Portal, how like the puzzles are constructed by the building itself.
Right.
Very cool. Yeah. The amount of just like cloned items, whether they're fused together or glitching into the wall. Again, another area where I was saying to myself, like, this is amazing what he's being able to transfer from what's so clearly video game logic, like something clipping through the wall and looking glitched out, how that's now a disturbing feature of something that's never meant to feel like a video game in the movie. And really translating that to the audience. And maybe most of all, just kind of seeing the decay and distortion of the labyrinth the deeper you go. If fans were going to accept this as true liminal horror, this aspect had to be dialed in. The set design had to be paramount because while many things are creepy in the movie, the majority of the experience is still slowly peeking around corners, revealing a room that you can't possibly make sense of. That's the hook. That's liminal horror.
Yep.
And for this to get this right and not have any of its other flavors be stronger than that, it does have other aspects to the horror, but that's always the priority. And I feel like, again, beyond expectation, really knocked it out of the park.
He did. He crushed it, this kid. And it's just great. And it's super important that Chiwetel Ejiofor here he's hamming up the performance a little bit.
Okay.
Like, he's not straight shooting it for sure. He's a little hammy. But I think wonderful.
Yep.
I think we need him to be good in this role.
Yes.
Like, he really needs to sell it.
Yes.
And he was selling it.
Yeah.
When you get into the back rooms, I want to see him. I want to see it on his face.
Yes.
I liked Renatu Reinsva. I mean, I could see other people in this role, but I think she was fine. I maybe have issues with her character development and how it was written more than her performing.
Yes. It definitely is surprisingly a little bit of a thinker as well, because there was issues that I had with that I thought were kind of not plot holes, but just like I was like, what's that about? But as the more I thought about it, I feel like this does have a lot of show don't tell into it. A great example is there's a period of time that Clark is in the back rooms, and we're not really given the details of how long he's missing. This is fueled by his psychologist kind of doing like a wellness check and just little tricks to tell the passage of time, whether it be mail to piling up by the door or once we kind of see Clark's state. There's a lot there that is show don't tell, which I really appreciated. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He gives you enough to feel satisfied at the end of all of it.
Yep, absolutely. Honestly, though, folks, this movie received more hype than I ever expected, both before and certainly after now. Sure, I could have guessed that Kane Pixel fans would have come out in droves, just like we saw with Iron Lung. Even to the point of millions made. But unlike anything we've covered this week, this had just a mark of quality that not only felt like a real movie, thank you A24, but an exciting new concept to make it on the big screen. If we are going to be doomed by sequels upon sequels of Backrooms, at least it's something real new.
Right.
And real fresh.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of all right with that. But maybe that's what hooked so many audiences this opening weekend. Maybe they have heard of the Backrooms. Maybe they haven't. Maybe it was something that they browsed past on the internet but not really digested it. Or maybe they heard some kid screaming about it in public, some Zoomer or Gen Alpha kid. Either way, not only was this something fresh for the horror genre, It's something our young directors should be very proud of, especially in the task of translating the concept without losing the priorities of what made it so unique in the first place. We're going to go ahead and give Backrooms a 75.
Okay, 75%, very good score. Why not higher? Why not? Was there something holding it back, or just a simple film like this can only go so high for you?
I think a little bit of crumbs and spoilers. Not much though.
Okay.
Not much though. I think a little bit of just. When it comes to liminal horror, it is slow burn. And not saying I was bored, but like I know, I don't know. There was something there that
it can only give you so much.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel that.
And to get on its level, you have to be just immersed. You have to just be kind of again,
you got to be
peeking around the corners with the character.
Exactly right. Yeah.
I don't think 75 is bad though. I wasn't giving this as a knock. I feel like it's just more so. Maybe the scale of the movie a little bit more.
Yeah. I totally get that. No, 75 is a very good movie for us, literally.
Absolutely.
That's what a 75 is.
I mean, as it stands right now, this is what, number 4 for the year?
Okay, yeah.
As far as if I had to kind of, the head-to-head that everyone is positioning to these two with Obsession versus Backrooms,
which
I would definitely prefer Obsession.
Just what a crazy few weeks here too.
Yeah,
because Obsession, it's shocking that Obsession now is being overtaken by something even bigger.
Yeah.
Because Obsession broke records. Its second weekend was bigger than its first weekend. Its third weekend was bigger than the second weekend.
Yeah,
which is way bigger than the first weekend.
Yeah,
the growth of Obsession was unreal. It was still the second best movie this week.
Yeah,
it beat Mando. And Mando's only in its second week. Obsession was in the third week, and it beat it. I mean, crazy what's happening.
And I'm still in this position. I would definitely watch both of those movies. I'd watch Backrooms again and watch Obsession again. Only Obsession this year, and I mean like now out of horror, like the only movie this year that I've had not only a desire to watch again, but like I would drop everything to see it with someone that like hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's so great.
I still got to see that. Definitely will see that. And but I mean, listen, Vin, this Backrooms got me to the movie theater by myself to see a horror film. And like you said, it's psychological thriller, big time. This is horror, though.
Yeah,
this still absolutely gets a stamp of horror.
Yeah,
and saw it. Didn't fall asleep at all. Not a wink.
That's great.
And it worthy of not falling asleep.
That's the biggest slight we can give to Jon Favreau and Star Wars as a whole. That he fell asleep 3 times in Mando and Grogu.
And Backrooms, I was wide awake, ready to go.
Ready to hear those footsteps, ready to look around the corner.
So enjoyable. Would love to talk more about it. Again, folks, if we just can't really talk about things too much.
Yeah.
And some things that generally just excited me.
Yeah.
To see in the movie.
Yeah.
So, okay, Vin. All right. So, looking at these scores, anything to touch on, add? What are we doing next week? Roll credits? What do you want?
yeah, next week. Oh, boy. Well, we're back to IP franchise hell with the Master of the Universe movie.
Hey,
listen, Tom and I, we're both millennials. We're not Gen X. We have no attachment to He-Man. So just maybe take it with a grain of salt if you really like He-Man. We are going to be watching the colossal failure that is the Masters of the Universe 1987 movie. This is I believe our second time touching on canon films. The last time was Superman 4.
Yeah.
Quest for Peace. So expecting a real stinker. And then, of course, the new one, Master of the Universe. I will save my single hot take for that. I've already told you my single hot take for the new Master of the Universe, but we'll save that for the review. I don't have a lot of faith in it.
Well, you like the director, Travis Knight.
Yes.
He did do Kubo.
Yes, he comes from Laika.
Yep.
Comes from stop motion.
And we're also going to get a Laika film this year.
Yeah.
Directed by him.
Yeah.
There was a blip, a brief second that I was somewhat excited for this film months ago.
Yep.
Now the trailers have come out, and it just looks like some of the worst CGI slop you've ever seen in your life. And I kind of wish we didn't get a He-Man movie. I would be more excited about a Stretch Armstrong film. Not joking. I would do Stretch Armstrong.
You know what's crazy is that this is fallout from Barbie, basically. It's Mattel.
Wow.
This is technical fallout from Barbie.
Wow.
So...
Is Stretch Armstrong Mattel?
I don't know.
I mean,
maybe Hot Wheels.
Fantastic Four's main guy is Stretch Armstrong. Like they built an entire franchise of comics around Stretch Armstrong.
You don't talk about Reed Richards, the smartest man in comics. Go back to that episode.
But
you were shocked that I was even remotely a fan of the Fantastic Four. You were like, wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, no one likes this.
Oh, man. Well, next week we will have The Power Among Us.
Nice.
We're covering both of those. The original He-Man in that 87 with Dolph Lundgren.
Yes, Dolph Lundgren.
Yes, Lundgren. That's right.
Yeah.
So, okay, Vin, thank you so much for stopping by for these reviews here this evening. And folks at home, we'll run it down one more time. We've got Exit 8 with a 69%, Iron Lung with a 51%, and Backrooms with a 75%. Always a great time hanging out week after week with you folks. I'll be back on Tuesday for the new show, and we'll have Vincent Daly in the chair next Thursday right here on the Daily Ratings Podcast. And hey, if you enjoyed the podcast, if you would, give us a good rating or get the word out and tell a friend about us. And just a reminder that the Daily Ratings is completely producer supported. We want to stay away from advertising, and we don't want to have any paywalls or tier structures or subscriptions. It's all just value for value. So, are you finding value in what we're doing here at the Daily Ratings? Then become a producer and donate whatever amount of value that is. Just go to the donations tab on thedailyratings.com. And while you're there, be sure to check out the massive amount of films that Vince has rated. So thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Daily Ratings Podcast.